Pope Francis has made a dramatic admission that around 2% of the clergy in the Catholic Church are paedophiles. In an interview with an Italian newspaper, he apparently described the abuse of children as a leprosy infecting the church. Sky's Rhiannon Mills joins us now live. Rhiannon, this is quite staggering.
It is. It's very unusual to see that figure of 2% being quoted anywhere. It's in the newspaper La Repubblica, which is one of the leading newspapers in Italy, and follows on from what's being described as an informal chat, so not an official interview with Pope Francis. That was carried out by Eugenio Scalfari. Now, he's the founder and former editor-in-chief of the newspaper. If we read you what is directly quoted in the newspaper attributed to the Pope, it says, "Many of those who advise me reassure me that reliable data that assesses the extent of paedophilia within the church to be at the level of 2%. I consider it to be very serious indeed. Priests, bishops and cardinals are amongst the 2% figure, and others more numerous know about it, but they keep silent, punish without saying why. I find this situation to be intolerable, and I intend to tackle it with the seriousness it requires." Now, it's not surprising that the Vatican have quite quickly responded to this article. They really want to point out that there aren't necessarily quotation marks around these quotes which are being attributed to the Pope. And more specifically, they have gone on to say that it's important to note that the words that Mr. Scalfari attributes to the Pope are not a precise transcription or recording, nor have they been approved by the person to whom the remarks are attributed. Of course, we have seen the Pope recently speaking out about this issue of abuse. Only in the last few weeks, he for the first time met up with victims of abuse and begged for forgiveness. But I think what is going to be most in people's minds really is that 2% figure. It obviously shows a real focus within the Vatican trying to assess the figures and look in depth into this.
And while they don't, they say that they don't attribute them directly to the Pope and they're not quotes, they don't deny the figure, it would appear.
No, they don't, but you would think that that 2% figure is potentially the issue that is troubling them the most. But what they have clearly said is certainly that issue of mentioning cardinals amongst the 2% cannot be directly attributed to the Pope.